Happy Valentine's Day.
Wait, what?
It's Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, Jesus. Are you
Every man's
serious?
favorite holiday.
I had no idea. The beauty of being a single guy is that these things kind of sneak up on you. You go, what? Oh, why is
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sir. When you're single, you're free from, I don't know, I hate to call them like
burden?
fiat holidays, but the people say Hallmark holidays. We
Yeah.
have them for reasons. I get it culturally, Mother's Day, Father's Day, uh, whatever days we've come up with to sort of pro social type recognition days. I get it.
Sure. Why not?
And at the same time, see,
Hey,
we can be Johnny's Valentine.
hey, Johnny.
If
You're my
Satoshi's
Valentine.
watching, I want Satoshi to be our Valentine. I guess he is. He just is.
He is.
Um,
Always.
so anyway, it's Valentine's Day. So for all of you that have lives and wives, you may not be watching because you're spending quality time with the people you love, right?
Yeah. You're going to brunch because everybody loves brunch. I know, honey. Let's go to brunch. We'll
I
just
used to
stand in
do.
line and wait for brunch.
Oh God, I used to do a lot of that. Like when I lived in Seattle and I was younger, and it was just sort of like this. I don't know. So social, nice sounding fun. I mean, I guess in a way, fun thing to do. But you go, and you're all the discussion about where should we go and what about this, and oh, they might be busy, and oh, they're kind of expensive, whatever. And then you finally pick a place, and it's a line out the door, and all the other hip yuppies are all in line doing the same thing. And I'm like, oh, the madness of crowds. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
And when would you
like,
ever do that? Like as just an adult male, when would you ever like you and your buddies are never like, it'd be really fun. Let's all go stand in line outside some bougie place where we're gonna spend $50 on a muffin and get some tea for brunch. Like your friends would never do that to you, right? And yet,
an ex-wife has your Bitcoin,
there you
huh?
go. I don't know, man. Like
It's the pussification of society. I mean, women, I guess, tame and help men, and also men concede to a lot of things. Which there's a balance. I guess I'll just say I don't want to categorize like broad platitude things we're talking about like how things could or should be at this. Like as a man, there's things that I wouldn't be as good about or have grown as well as a person if I didn't have, say, women in my life that kind of kept some things in check, even as I, negotiated things.
meh.
There are times as a guy where you're like, really? Is it another fucking holiday? Like,
Yeah. Do we
can I
really
just
have to do
can
this?
I have it be a nothing day and just Monday, I guess. Monday's like President's Day or something. So
No.
okay, good. Thank you, recognizing good past presidents, and I have a day off. What female personalities in my life will do is want to make plans and go do something and like make it a thing.
Right.
What the man in me wants to do is like, I'd get a day off. I could actually
Take a nap.
work on stuff I want to do, or actually read a book, take a nap, do nothing. Is it
Yeah.
okay to like do nothing? Is that cool? Like I work all the time and I get some time off. Does that mean I could like take a break?
Right. Yeah.
Or
Well,
can
there's
we
that.
have breakfast at home and relax? Or do we need to go make plans and have it be a thing and go sit in the crush of all the other people, eat out and pay money?
Exactly. Well, do you know who
That's good, Johnny.
Patrice O'Neill is?
I'm not sure.
He's a comedian. He passed away a few years ago, but he used to have this really great bit. He's like, and it just kind of sort oriented around like you're sitting there watching the game. You're fine. Everything's fine. No problems at all. Woman walks in the room. Hey, what are you doing? Watching the game. Oh, wouldn't it be better if I sat next to you and watched the game? Wouldn't it be better if we cuddled while you watch the game? And gosh, isn't it hot? Wouldn't it be better if we turned on the heater? And gosh, wouldn't it be better if we watched opera instead of football? And gosh, wouldn't it be better? And he said, by the end of it, you're just like, so you just went from like everything was just fine to like now you're like hot and you got this
We're gonna
thing
fix this
on you and like everything's been fixed. So it's everything that you hate,
Yeah.
And that's how you survive the relationship. You compromise your way towards whatever she wants.
It's HR, walking solutions, looking for problems.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, oh, and I think a guy has a natural state where they can kind of just be, just there, just being there, and like, you go out and you work and you work and you work, you come back and you appreciate just kind of your dead zone of, I'm just chilling, I'm just thinking, I'm watching the game, I can just be, and I'm unwinding, and I'm not going to like describe it, it just is. And maybe women are kind of, they're keeping the household, the nest, the kids, thinking all the things, and want to help, or maybe, like, but hey, could we do this? Could we add this? Do you need this? You want to do this? And a guy like doesn't need any more decisions in his life, or whatever. But anyway,
yeah. Well, what Johnny says is absolutely true. Fritz,
elephant in the room.
You should check out Patrice O'Neal. He's hilarious, and as a married guy, you'd probably appreciate him. But yeah, he was a funny dude. It's really sucks that guy passed away, but he yeah, in terms of comedians, like he was one of those guys that was really well respected among comedians, but he never really was able to kind of capitalize on it the same way. Like he got offered a TV show and he kind of blew it up, and I think they gave him like a clip show, kind of like, do you know who Daniel Tosh is?
Oh yeah, Tosh. I've heard of that.
So Daniel Tosh had a show, Tosh 2.0, and it was just clip show, right? Like here's some goof nuggets on YouTube doing dumb things, right?
It's like,
and then
before TikTok, it was a show that on TV that was like a TikTok show.
Yeah, exactly. So Patrice O'Neal had the same thing, and he was just like, I ain't doing this shit. It's bullshit. It's dumb. I don't want to do no, blah, 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 blah.
I remember him. I didn't realize he died.
Yeah, he's great. He's absolutely hilarious. But the thing is, like, he turned that thing down. Daniel Tosh was like, hell yeah, I'll do this. Wait, you're going to pay me $2 million a year to just like make fun of people on YouTube? Sold, Like he ran with that for like a decade. And it's just like that difference in approach, right? Like, do you play the fiat game, or do you like stand above it and be poor? And Patrice O'Neal stood above it and was poor, but I don't know.
Yeah, Johnny, you may have forgotten it's Valentine's Day, but your wife may not have. So, and there's another, I think I've mentioned this many times, but when your wife says, like, say as a guy, you're thinking strategically, rationally, planning as a guy does, you plan ahead and you communicate, and you're like, you want to do anything for Valentine's Day, or you want anything? Is there anything you want? You anyway, you want to be respectful and plan and then get them what they want, and not like be fake about it. And you ask, and they say, oh no, it's fine. It's fine. No, don't need to do anything. That can be a trick.
Oh, that's loaded.
Like
100%.
Okay. Well, I've literally done that. Like, oh, really? Are you sure?
Okay, cool.
Like, we can go out if you want. Oh no, we can just hang out. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, let's do that then. And then we do that, and it's like something's wrong. It's
like,
oh,
I can't believe you're not taking me out. You just told me we didn't have to do that.
Well, you should have just known.
Yeah. But I know I told you we didn't have to, but if you cared about me, you would have. And now obviously you don't care about me. So it's like, fuck.
That was a test, but it's not the kind of test like it sounds bad, like I'm testing you. It's just that you should just know, and I shouldn't have to say, and that's what guys do, and this is how women are, and it's the game. And I'm like, but I don't like that game. And it's
that game sucks.
You don't like the game?
Yeah. Well, I think that's where there's that personality that's just like, I don't give a shit. They just kind of leave it like that.
Man, before Johnny.
Holy shit, really?
Johnny has a past life.
I guess so, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Chilling with Tosh and Mitch Hedberg. That's huge, dude.
Yeah, that's cool. Man, yeah, it's like having a past life when you think about back in the days when I was young, and things I used to do, or when I was, I mean, you're growing up, you don't know any better. You got your first girlfriend or your first wife or your first whatever, and you're just like, this is just what it is, and I'm going to be a good man. And then you get sucked right into, a rabbit hole of yeah, female world. So,
Indeed. Well,
anyway,
anyway,
it's Valentine's Day, Satoshi. Be my
yeah.
Valentine.
Is that what We Love You, Satoshi is all about?
Yeah, it's Valentine's Day. I was gonna say like I thought about a title like Satoshi, will you be my Valentine? Or anyway, so it sounds gushy, mushy. It is. Today's
All
for
right.
about love. Love
Well,
can
I
be
would
different.
point out that Bitcoin's right at 69K. Huh?
69,420. I think
Yeah. Do
it's
we
the
hit a
69,420 gang
Yeah. Why not?
for how long? It's been there for a little while now.
Yeah. Well, this might be where I don't know. Am I the only one that just keeps praying and hoping that it drops like 30K? Like, I can't think of a better possible outcome for the next like 6 to 9, maybe 10, 11 months. Like, to just to dip our toes back into 30, I would just be like,
There's
thank you,
that
thank you,
point
thank you.
where I know everybody's journey or time in the game is different. And so there's a point where time preference is such a thing where you want it, you want the cheap sets so you can, yeah, exactly, Johnny. you can accumulate because you want to accumulate. And then after a while, you feel this sense of an ultimate destination with it all, or the big turning of the corners of the nation states and the things, and that someday like this is going to be important. And maybe you like have enough. You feel like I kind of met goals. I kind of got where I thought I wasn't sure if I could get, and then I
Who are
got
you?
like so you got your point one Bitcoin or you got a Bitcoin and you feel like, oh, I made my goals. And psychological, you feel accomplished and you got Bitcoin that you wanted to get. And even as you're still stacking, you're kind of feeling like, okay, well, now it would be nice for this. And depending on your age, like, okay, I'm almost 50 and it's like, it would be nice to feel like this was a serious nest egg. But I mean, I could always accumulate cheap too. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, if you look at someone like Sailor, who's sitting on, thousands of Bitcoin, and you kind of, you wonder, like, is he sitting there going like, I need more. I don't have enough. Right. Or, cause like I can look at my stack and go like, yeah, I definitely need more. Right. But I guess the question becomes like, when is it enough? Right. Like, and that I suppose is sort of personal to everybody, and kind of what you consider like your nest egg is, what a nest egg really means, or what it really looks like, or how much that could be. But I don't think I'm a baboon about this, and yet I have yet to cross a threshold where I'm like, dude, I got plenty of Bitcoin. Well, I ain't worried about that shit.
I know. I'll never feel like oh, I got plenty.
Like,
But
I think that's like OG land, right? Like those guys that are just like, yeah, well, when in 2010, I set up a miner and I mined like 12,500 Bitcoin. And then when it shot up to $100, I sold a bunch. And then I've still got 9,750 Bitcoin, and and then it shot up a bunch more, and then I sold some more of that, and then I kind of didn't need to sell it anymore because I was like pretty rich and didn't really give a shit.
right.
So now I just have like 9,700 Bitcoin, and I kind of go, and I'm pretty sure those guys are like, I got enough. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're down like, yeah, I got to stack more, baby. Yeah, diamond hands. I think they're just kind of like, well, if it goes up to something crazy, I'm going to strip off some more and just like buy an island or something. I don't know. But in the meantime, like, I'm doing pretty good and I don't give a shit. So fuck it. Right.
And I've heard a lot of stories over the past couple of months from some different Bitcoiners where they at one point had a lot. And when it hit a few hundred a coin or it hit 1,000 a coin, they sold. And so there's people that are OGs that also feel like they still could have stacked more, could have held it better, didn't know what it was.
Right.
So it would take a ways yet still, I think, for any of us to feel like, oh yeah, we're fine.
Yeah. Well,
then again, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Right. The thing I was going to say is like my law professor was one of those guys who was like stacking in like 2011, and and he lost, quote unquote, like half his Bitcoin on Mount Gox. But when he realized he still had half his Bitcoin, he sold it like he smash sold immediately, right? Like, and I think the Bitcoin price was like $1,200 or something. I can't remember what it was at the time. All I know is he walked away with like $14 million, right?
Wow.
And so the thing is, he had invested like $5,000, and so the moment, I don't care who you are or where you are in life, if you just like are digging around in your closet and you pull something out and then you go look on, online somewhere and you go, oh my God, wait a minute. That thing I spent $5,000 on is worth 15 million. I should hold it. Like, who does that? Right. I don't, like you kind of go like, hell yeah, I'm taking this money. Now, if you flash forward and you go, well, if he had just held that until it was 100,000, he would have gone from like, I'm doing pretty good. I got 14 million in the bank and a good job and a house is paid for and yada, 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 to like, oh, I'm in a very different stratosphere now. Like I'm not like a guy who's kind of grinding it out. I'm like a guy who's independently wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't know that in 2015, right? When you're just like, oh my God, look how much Bitcoin I got. Look how much money I have, right? So like the people that kind of held on, the beauty of it is now that Mount Gox thing sounds like it's kind of winding up, right? And so chances are good he's gotten some of his Bitcoin back. So now he's not only did he cash out then and do really well then, but he's probably now getting another stack and kind of going like, holy shit, dude. Like I have 15 million then, and now I got like 78 million now. Like this is crazy. And I bet you $50 he smash sells it, right? He just goes like, hell yeah, I'm getting rid of this. The second it hits his wallet, he's probably dumping that shit. So I don't know, man. It's really hard to like fault people for not being diamond handed crazies, especially if you had like a huge stack. But I'll say the same thing in like 20 years when Bitcoin is like, 15, 20 million per coin and someone strips off like 0.3 of it and just makes themselves comfortable in fiat land. I gotta go, I'm not one that's going to preach like, you never sell your Bitcoin. I'm going to be one that's preaching like, well, that kind of made sense. Dude. Like I get it, right? Like you got to live in the fiat world. The fiat world isn't disappearing tomorrow. You still got to wake up and take a dump. So may as well take a dump and wipe your ass with satin sheets rather than, some crusty old like Scott tissue or whatever. Right. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you think?
I just feel constantly mixed about it. I like being able to stack when it's cheap, and at the same time, there's the validation of it going up. And after so many years, my impatience and my lack of knowledge have reinforced to me that over the years, I'm just like, oh man, this year might be the year, or this is the last of the cycles now, or 2026 is the year. 2026 is the year that melts faces. Well, and I kind of would have thought that about maybe 2025 or even 2024. And it's just been more of a tempered everything. If you zoom out, everything is completely validated and like, yeah, no, this is better than I might have imagined in some ways. And at the same time, it's not like tearing away, changing the world crazy. And I'll feel impatient about it. And then honestly, though, if it did that, it may not be good for the great realignment, because then people would sort of draw a line. People would be like, well, I'm left behind. I missed the boat. That's for the rich people. Oh, lucky you. And they're not engaged anymore. They're just like, oh, must have been nice.
Right. Yeah.
If it remains okay, volatility being what it is, if it remains just sort of that steady uphill roller coaster, maybe that's best to kind of keep people drawn in like, hey, hello,
Right.
hello.
Yeah.
It's not late.
Exactly.
And people will see it again when it breaks 100,000 again and be like, oh, for the third time again, I just noticed it was in the 30s or in the 40s or the 60s, like not too long ago. Gee, I should have got some then again.
Right.
Maybe I'll get some now. And
Right.
I don't know, it keeps people maybe entertaining or willing to learn versus it moonshots, melts faces. No one will ever own a whole coin anymore. Sorry. And then everybody's like, oh, well, I don't get it apparently. And I guess I missed it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's when it gets into that sort of, the numeracy bias and things like that. Right. And I mean, in terms of like onboarding plebs, I think there's a legitimate argument to be made for like changing the decimal place, right? Or just like giving some different terminology, something that, because like if like to this day, if you just walk into the grocery store and just go, hey, what do you know about Bitcoin? Nothing. Oh, okay. What do you know about Bitcoin? Nothing, 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 nothing. Oh, I know a little bit. That's like you can't even own it now, right? Kinda, but it's fractional, right? Yeah, but if you wanted like 100 Bitcoin, you can't get that anymore. So true, but and then it's like you got to go through this whole like navigating this conversation about why and how it's divisible, and actually you can get Satoshis instead of Bitcoins and blah, and it's just like, and by the time you're like at the first logical step down, people are already just like, huh? Like they're just gone, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, but that Rodney Tony thing is pretty interesting. I saw that. I don't know how robust his calculation is, but I mean, it's at least fun to kind of think about. You kind of go, yeah, well,
yeah. I mean,
not a bad ROI.
I know, and I mean it's true. The psychology is, people pile in when they see it in the mainstream news because it's at a high,
Right.
And I see Bitcoiners on on Bitcoin X and all that stuff today taking a break or reconciling their emotions about it, or feeling like they got to reevaluate their models, formulas, expectations about it, because it's like no one predicted this exactly. A lot of people were saying, oh man, some all-time highs, and it causes pause for people that all the number go up theory projections and the excitement and stuff. It makes it easy to watch and click. But a lot of Bitcoiners are also having to stop and pause and reevaluate their time frame, which I get. I mean, I guess if you've been through it before, you're like, oh, we've seen this before. My convictions haven't changed, but there are a lot of what I would call strong, like I don't know if you call them Bitcoin maxis, but they're into Bitcoin, and this price drop in fiat gives them pause and sort of like, like all that leverage wasn't good, huh? Or whatever. I don't know. I'm seeing some interesting chill, I guess.
Yeah, and understandably, and I think if we start stepping back and we kind of look at the institution, or what the emerging institution of being an influencer is, it's about attention, right? And it's about monetizing attention, and they're not necessarily, like every time you see like a hot chick that comes along and is like, I'm a gamer, right? Like you kind of go, but are you though? Were you really like sitting there grinding it out in your grungies in your mom's basement and eating Cheetos and playing Call of Duty all this time? Or did you kind of notice that you're hot and that when you play video games, the boys pay way more attention to you, and now you're monetizing that, right? So, and not to say that they're all sort of Machiavellian in that way and they're just taking advantage of their looks and
natural human incentives.
But there is a huge incentive there, right? So, and I think like if you're someone who's just like randomly tweeting into the void, and all of a sudden you stumble across something where you get a lot of traction, and then that traction turns into a job, and that job turns into like a durable stream of income, the likelihood that you're going to abandon that so you can go back to working at Shakey's Pizza, I think, is pretty low, right? So you just kind of keep going with whatever works. And if you happen to start your career by going like by being a moon boy, then people are going to expect you to keep being a moon boy, so you're just going to keep hammering moon boy shit. And all the whinging and wrangling and shit you have to do when your moon boy predictions fall apart is more about like managing perspectives so you can keep monetizing your shtick.
Yeah.
But as I was thinking about this the other day, it occurred to me, and I don't know, this is way more conspiratorial than I think it warrants, but if you think about the way the halving cycle works, and you think about the way the peak to trough cycle works, you go, well, it's roughly 2 years after the low that the next high comes, and it's like roughly 1 year after the halving, and then roughly 1 year after that it bottoms. You go, okay, that kind of makes sense, because halving and it reduces miner revenue, and then they start selling so they can buy new equipment and blah, 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 whatever theories, right? But I also would just like to point out for anybody watching that, not that we have a huge audience or anything, but for those watching, I would also point out that just sort of neatly coincides with when short-term capital gains turn into long-term capital gains, which is a difference of like 15% in your tax rate. So if you start thinking about it, you go, isn't that interesting that right at the peak, like if you were a bottom buyer in 21 or 22, whenever it bottomed, and you held until it peaked just recently and then sold right then, you're only getting taxed at the long-term capital gains rate. That's kind of neat. That's kind of an interesting quirk. Like it just so happens that at the moment when the price is at its highest, you can sell for maximum profit and you get minimal tax burden from it. And then it's going to nuke all the way back down. And then you can just kind of do it again, And so if there's like 5,000 OG holders that kind of put this together and go, wait a minute. And I'm not even saying they have to all coordinate, but if they're all kind of working on the same assumption at the same time, they end up in a pseudo coordination just from incentives where they kind of go, yeah, well, we know when to stack and we do. And, and you'll see all those like whales are buying right now. You guys are fucking scared, but the whales are accumulating. And then right at the top, no one seems to mention the fact that all the whales are selling now. They kind of leave that out and they just keep pumping the like, it's going up to $1 million. We'll never see under 100,000 again. Meanwhile, the whales are in the background going, all right, I just cleared like some fat profit here. I'm only going to take a 20% haircut on the sale. Yeah, that works. All right. So I don't know if there's any merit to my theory or the idea, but
like smart people all doing the same smart thing.
Right. Like,
and it takes, you got 3 to 5 years of a time preference plan, as opposed to any month now, any week now, this year. Someone like if our format here had been hooked on the number go up. Oh, well, just wait. I know here we are months now. Just wait, number go up. Well, that gets old, and people are burned on you, or got literally burned. And and so it's like zooming out, and a lot of people have to reconcile what if you were a number go up bro, and now you're going through wintertime chill time, and you got to step back and reevaluate what is the message you're sticking to now, and are you capable of more fully understanding Bitcoin as what it's doing versus pure fiat number investment trade. So yeah. Anyway, now
maybe I should be an influencer in a low cut top. Just kind of, is it working? Is it changing anything? Did our viewer numbers?
You need if you grow the hair out.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Now
I'm too Sinead O'Connor right now, dude. That wouldn't work.
Let me see if.
R.I.P. Sorry, no dig.
Let me see here. Oh, hold on a sec. I was
holding.
Hold me tightly here. There was the Epstein thing came up recently, and oh, is this it?
Epstein coin, I love it. That's a great narrative. I hope that really, really gains some traction and people just fucking panic dump Bitcoin as a result. That would be awesome.
Okay, this one I think. Yes. Okay. See if you can hear this. Oops. Hold on. Choose all my tabs. So economically wise, I got to play this. Yeah. So Bondi, when it gets down to the core problems going on in the world, it does boil down to number go up.
And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. and the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe.
Okay. Did you hear that?
Shit, the Dow is, 49.5, dude.
Oh my God. So I mean, that's the thing. It's like you might think there's important things in the world, but no. The Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P chicky nuggies. That's what, we got to keep that floating. We can't arrest people.
We got to keep the Dow going. That is insane, dude. Like, I haven't looked at the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index for like years. Like, I don't even care because I know it's just like, you may as well just call this the M2. It's just, here's a chart of the money supply abstracted to a bunch of fucking worthless shit that we call stocks. But the fact that it's at like 50,000, like, I remember talking to my friend, and it was like in the late 90s. And I went, dude, the Dow just crossed 10,000. Like, that's insane. Do you not see how crazy that is?
It's
10,
so fake and bloated and dumb. Yeah.
Right. And now it's 5X that. It's like, what are we talking about here? Like, Johnson & Johnson's Band-Aids got that much better in the last 20 years? I don't think so. Did GM suddenly become like this powerhouse of like manufacturing prowess? I don't think so. Like, what is driving this exactly? Yeah. And people are just happy enough to like, number went up,
and it hides the. I mean, basically, did it keep up with inflation? Maybe a little, barely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's right there. I mean, it's basically lockstep. Like, if you're it's all Fugazi, yeah. But it's just crazy to think about, right? And the fact that no one can money is confusing enough that people just don't really understand what it is, why it's there, what we use it for, or anything. The dominant monetary theories don't do any favors in terms of figuring that problem out. And meanwhile, things like the Dow become the metric that everyone pays attention. There's like, number went up, and they don't, there's no there's no logical tie for the vast majority of human beings to why one number is related to the other and what it actually means for your bottom line. And I was even talking to my mom the other day, and I was just like, because her sister, I think, she bought Google at some X number, and it went up X number, and so she sold it, and she was all happy about it. And I was like, she didn't make any money. Like, I know she has more of the pieces of paper. There's a bigger number in her account, but what that buys is exactly the same as what it did when she bought that shit. So all she did was like make it so she can keep buying shit. Like, that's the only shift in her world is like, well, 10 years ago when I bought Google stock, I could buy $100 worth of groceries and get, X number of things. I bought Google stock instead of putting this in my mattress. And now I can buy the exact same grocery cart, except it costs $500. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing changed except all the numbers got bigger across the board. But if you didn't have those things that kept up with it, if you were the guy who was like, I don't trust these goddamn Wall Street guys, I don't trust that Bitcoin stuff, I don't trust gold, I just trust Uncle Sam, and I'm putting this in my shoebox and putting it in my backyard. You go, well, now you have fun staying poor, dude. You're broke. Like, you may have $1 million in the backyard, but it doesn't buy you shit now. You can't even buy a house, dude. So, yeah, is that a good idea?
Well, and to hear it in the context of a hearing, trying to get down to the possibility that there may be a big organized criminal ring of pedophiles, creepsters that traffic this and traffic that, and it's connected to other foreign governments and big money and deep intelligence, and there's a whole world here. But no, the Dow, we're not, if we started prosecuting people, the whole system would fall apart. Boomers got to comfortably retire. Okay, wait, what about the criminal ring of pedophiles? Forget it. It drives me crazy.
Well, Well, I don't know if you go ask a robot like, hey, what got revealed from that latest drop, that big huge drop of stuff, and the robot basically will go, not much. Like there's like nothing came out. There was no like, oh my god, the smoking gun is right here. Like this proves that everybody was involved in this. Like it's like there's a lot of anecdotal shit. There's a lot of things you can kind of draw lines if you wanted to, but at the end of the day, it's like, what was this guy really doing? And it goes, well, it looks like maybe he was throwing these little sex parties. I don't know, probably. Does it look like some of these rich guys were getting tangled up in that? Yeah, probably. I mean, chances are good, right? Was it like some big blackmail ring where he's using it? Maybe, or maybe he was just like a guy that had access to money and was kind of flinging it around and gaining a lot of influence and power along the way.
All that money, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like there are people that are coming up with all kinds of money in ways that don't involve, intelligence officials supplying it. So it's like, it's just hard to say. And I don't think we'll ever know. Right. Like there are people to this day that still think Elvis is alive. So you kind of go, well, if we can't even sort out Elvis, the likelihood that we're going to unpack what actually happened in the back rooms of the highest corridors of power on planet Earth, I think is functionally zero. Like you may as well be asking to like, I demand to go to the moon tomorrow. And it's just like, you're just not gonna, it's just not gonna happen. Let's see. Geez, I wish more people would talk about the Tao instead of the Tao.
So Jeeves and I had a good long talk about things about Buddhism and
the
middle way. So, and that's the thing is that a lot of this stuff, these headlines left and right it is a big distraction. On one hand, I think with time and with AI and with information we can glean, we can come to know a little better sources of power, sources of money, who's behind that. And you might call that a conspiracy and who they got connected with. But all that aside, it is an easy distraction to keep people focused on that. And honestly, there's a lot of people that are going to let it infect them and be unhappy, unhealthy. And I've got family who are so tied up in the politics about it. They're just miserable.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jeeves about that actually, where it's like, I don't want to be completely naive, but even as I pay attention to it, I can't let it infect me. I've got to stay true to my purpose and family and keep my circle like, okay, me and my kids and my wife and my family and maybe my local community. But I got to stay centered because some of this stuff is so toxic. If you want to go down those rabbit trails, they're kind of unhealthy.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sorry, Johnny. Well, that's what I heard, but I also hear there's some pretty good evidence that he didn't. So,
well, there's evidence that Epstein's walking in Tel Aviv right now with bodyguards. So, hey.
So yeah, I'm interested in the Buddhist chat. That sounds very interesting to me.
If you go back to my history just a little bit, I've got Jeeves on Bitcoiners United. We had a good, decent, long conversation about a lot of things. The four noble truths and the eightfold path and Taoism and
nice.
When he's got his own life story to tell, but managing hard things in life, but in a cyclone, maintaining that eye of the cyclone that you can have and find peace and happiness, even as the world might want you to be, caught up in a storm. And anyway, good mindset. So
nice. I love it. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeeves.
I'm a big fan of the middle way. I'm here to tell you in terms of, I am so antagonistic towards polarized positions just because I think, it becomes tribal and it becomes a means of acquiring power. It's not really like, it's not that one side has more merit than the other or one side's right or wrong or it's literally just like tribal affiliation. And like, as a point, like in my book, I quote Rousseau, right? Like I've got a big fat quote from Rousseau in the book. And, I gave it to one of our friends to read or just look at. And he wrote back and he said, I hate that someone I respect is quoting Rousseau. And I thought, that's interesting. And the thing is like, if you're a Bitcoiner, Rousseau is sort of toxic to your worldview, generally speaking, not everybody. Like Bitcoiners are not a monolithic unified thing, but there is a healthy percentage of them that tend towards libertarian ideals and, self-sovereignty and yada, yada, yada. And so just the fact that like that I crossed a boundary, a tribal boundary, right?
Yeah.
That said, hey, you're not allowed to talk about these people. You're not allowed to. And I actually correct Rousseau in there. I go, this is where Rousseau made a mistake. This is where he got it wrong. And yet that didn't land with the Bitcoiner. It was just Rousseau is in front of me. I don't like it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the weird thing about these, when you start adopting these tribal mentalities and these sort of identities related to an ideology and things like that, that I think it becomes problematic, because it just short circuits critical thinking. It just short circuits like, you know, like thought, right? And being thoughtful and being conscientious and looking at things from a bigger perspective. It diminishes empathy. I mean, it invokes a lot of toxic traits. There's survival traits when you're facing a mammoth or a saber-toothed tiger or something like that. They are toxic traits in a globalized society that's connected by a great big massive networked ledger, and everybody is sort of coordinated on the same general grammar of we use money to do things, you know. So like when you import the survival mechanism into the modern context, I think it just gets manipulated way too easy, you know. So
Bitcoiners and wallet only. Yeah. Hey, so here's is that showing? Yeah, there we go. There's Jeeves.
Hey.
So nice. Jeeves was on my podcast on, there it is. Stay Curious, Mortal Bitcoiner. That one.
Nice. Yeah. Right
very,
next to
very
and Swiss Hodler. Right next to Uncle Rockstar and Swiss Hodler.
Oh, yeah. Some headliners there. I had Swiss Hodler, Uncle Rockstar, and then Jeeves. He's right up there.
Yeah.
So had some good ones there.
Yeah. Well, the channel is just blowing up, dude. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you really ought to. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's keeping me busy. That's for sure. Boy, well, what I've found too is, I mean, I'm always putting invites out there, and people are busy. Some people don't see the message, or I don't know how to get a hold of them. But I was kind of like, what if I run out of good people to talk to? And the thing is, there are so many. I can say, okay, Bitcoin only, Bitcoin Maxi only, or at least they get that at some level, but they're doing something interesting. There are a lot of those people. It's really just a matter of me, you know, if I send out like 10 invites and I get 1 or 2 back, well, then I just got to keep sending out invites. But there's not a shortage of good, interesting, smart people that I would want to have on. And the rest is just on me to find them.
Yeah.
But I've had people on that I kind of presumed one thing it might be, and it turned out to be something different. And then I've had other people that, you just never know what you're going to get. Like, oh, you do all this and that. And what they really want to talk about is just something different, because their life is kind of like they did Bitcoin years ago, and just life is different for them now, but it's still interesting perspective. So
yeah,
it's always interesting, but it's been busy.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the kind of neat things. We're very blessed and honored to have Robin Sayer amongst our crew here in MicroSeed land anyway. And, you know, he's got a great perspective on this because he's been doing this for a while, you know. But the thing I learned from watching Robin's show is that, as a general rule, Bitcoin is a pretty amazing social filter, right? Like, that's not to say that, like, if someone likes Bitcoin, you're just going to be like, yeah, we're best friends forever kind of thing. But it does give you like a baseline, right? Like every time I've gone to a conference, whether it's Vegas or Prague or even the little conference in Portland, it's like there's a shared grammar, there's a shared ethos, and there's a shared sort of like orientation towards things, right?
Yeah.
But it's not, I don't want to reduce it to something, because I know there are people that swing like super hard left in our Bitcoiners, and there are people that swing super hard right in our Bitcoiners. And I think there's a great big mushy body in the middle that is sort of like borrowing from, you know, elements of both. But overall, the likelihood of you running into a conversation, you know, like if you're talking to some lady at the bank and all of a sudden she starts just spouting shit and you're just like, oh, I really shouldn't open my mouth right here. Like, this lady's just a baboon. Like, those conversations almost never happen in Bitcoin circles, right? Like, I never find like, I can find someone like, oh, I kind of disagree with where they're coming from, or I don't really like their take on the core versus NOTs debate, or whatever it is. But writ large, like, we can talk about broad spectrum things, and we're going to be like, yeah, kind of nodding along, right?
Yeah.
There's never that moment where you're just like, where I feel like I'm in an episode of Parks and Rec and I'm at the public hearing, and people are like, when are we going to get a new toilet in the park? Like, you just don't get that same sort of like disconnected kind of rando vibe that just, different wavelength thing is kind of what
It can cut out a lot of mindset that people are trapped by, where it's either some sort of stuck with an identity, stuck with a sense of victimhood, stuck with a sense of, I'm just left behind. What am I going to do? Stuck with, not understanding kind of where money at least at some level, where money comes from. Like, why don't they just
print more?
Yeah. Why don't they, whatever, and then, or blaming it on the fat cats and the oligarchs. There's sort of a foundation there from which to work. I've met Bitcoiners that it's like, okay, we don't agree on some things, or personality wise, we're very different, but at least they're at another level from which I can relate and work with. Whereas when I go into Normie Land or work or in other places, it's like, it can be on one hand, like brilliant minds around stats about, did you catch the game? Or the politics behind, did you catch the game?
Right.
And it's like, I don't have enough room in my brain to have that. Sorry. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
That culture. On the other hand, it's like, the politics, the tragedy of the politics. And it's like, I get it. But I'm renting out space in my head. I have filled my head up, and I don't have a lot of room. And so to give something room, I got to take something out.
Right.
And so if it's negative or maybe speculative, I kind of have to just be like, yeah, I'm going to go back to my Bitcoin podcasting.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Like Johnny said, we are definitely the most interesting group of people on planet Earth. And, and I think it just comes from, like, you have to be willing to take a certain questioning stance, right? Like, you can't just presume things quite as easily. And Bitcoin, once you start down that rabbit hole, like, the illusions start popping pretty quick, right? Like, you just don't get to live in the same level of illusion, and people kind of equate it to red pilling and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's sort of an apt, like, line to draw, where you kind of go, yeah, well, people are sort of red pilled, right? Like, they're looking at the world and through what the world really is and that kind of thing. I think they get it to a point, generally speaking, but the fact that they're willing to try and take the pill to begin with, I think, is the bigger thing. They're the people that are willing to go, like, I don't want the stake. I just want to know what's really going on. And Bitcoin is sort of an anchor towards that direction, right? You go, oh, okay, well, here is something that illuminates. It brings a lot of light to an otherwise very dark and very opaque system, right? Like, nobody understands money. Nobody understands central banking. There was a guy, Conks, I think his name was, he used to put out these great charts. We're just like these big detailed things about, like, how settlement occurs and, what, like, a repo market looks like. And if you look at the density and the web of obligations that are woven through that thing, like, I think most people would just be like, what? That's, they don't see any of that. They just know, like, I tap my card, I get a coffee. Like, it works. I tap my card, I get groceries. I sign a piece of paper, I get a car. I sign another piece of paper, I get a house. Like, what's going on, how that all works is sort of irrelevant, right? And Bitcoin strips some of that away. It kind of goes, well, there's a machine under here, and it's a little bit closer to, like, pulling back the curtain in The Wizard of Oz than it is fully taking the red pill. But what it does show you is, like, oh, there is a curtain, and you are demonstrating a desire to pull that curtain back and see the thing and go, oh, this is a machine, and this is very different than what I thought it was. And just that orientation alone sets you apart, I think, from most people that are operating in the world today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And just taking that red pill is a one directionally good thing, endeavor to work toward. People can take the red pill and then get easily black pilled. Like, oh my gosh, it's all been a lie. It's all shit. It's all, now with with the orange pill, you can get onto the white pill or have a glimpse of that, or at least,
Yeah.
understand how there's hope. So,
Bad Bunny. That's so funny. Like, it's so funny you mentioned that, Johnny, because like
Bad
there was
Bunny.
just somewhere randomly, all of a sudden I was just seeing like, I open a browser and like the little news things are kind of there because I open on a blank tab. And there's all this shit about Bad Bunny. And I was like, what the fuck is a Bad Bunny? Like, why? And it's like, oh,
Is there a Bad Bunny?
Yeah. What about the good Bunny? I don't know. I mean, it's like,
well,
so
yeah.
you just watch how that machinery works in the background. It's really kind of astonishing, like just how well coordinated it is and how quickly people just get sucked up in the latest thing, right? Because that machine is finely tuned to just like to take a bunch of sheep minds and then orient them towards like, hey, here's a new shiny thing. Oh, okay, let's all go, and and we'll talk about Bad Bunny for the next 46 seconds, and then we'll be moving on to the next, and so, this week we're supposed to fly a flag of a different country and talk about how, these people should be allowed to pee in this bathroom. Okay, cool. That's what we're talking about this week. And then next week they go, nope, moving on. We're going here now. And people are just like, okay, and they don't even, it's almost like subconscious. They just kind of bounce from one thing to the next. And they get pissed off in the meantime, or they get a little bit of joy, or they see the little kitten video, and then they move on to the next thing. But at the end of the day, they're still grinding. They still got to go to the office. They still got to deal with Sue and HR, and they got to deal with Bob and accounting. And they're just like, meh. And then they come back and they just rinse and repeat. And, but they're so regimented. I mean, it's like we are quite literally living in the Matrix, and it's not a computer simulation. It's just a bunch of people that are sort of like botting around. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy when you step back and look at it.
Yeah. A social network of a matrix. Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts there. I've noticed now as I get older, for my health, just my mental health is affected by things. And the algorithm will, so say I don't, curate or go to a group or community on X, say, and go to people I follow specifically. If I go to just the For You feed, it's often pretty good. Like a lot of people or people I didn't know of or don't follow that have relatable things. If I scroll for a long while, it starts to turn into police body cam stuff and fights and ice or some of the stuff that resonates with my deeper behind back brain, lizard brain. And it also is hard to not look at because it hits me deeply, or I'll feel emotions like, oh, I'm watching a fight.
Yeah.
And it's hard to not watch. And then it also will resonate with feelings I have that connect with bigger things or fits a bucket. And then I catch myself scrolling and going like, oh my God, I need to stop. Like I'm feeding that, and I need to back out again and say, okay, what is my life about? What am I doing? Like I know all that happens, and you can catch a video clip and frame it as meaning this or that or the other.
Right.
But I don't have enough time, and for my mental health as I get older,
I don't know if I'm still alive.
I have to take care of myself. And
You
the bread and
froze up
circuses of it.
Yeah. Well, geez, you're spot on, man. I mean, and that, it's like, it's kind of late stage empire shit that we're sort of dealing with.
Yeah.
The thing that sort of strikes me now, and especially now that I've finished this book, that I'm not really, it's not ready yet. Like I've got it out to academic publishers right now, and I'm kind of waiting.
I can't wait to talk about that stuff.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it too. But one of the things I kind of got from the research, because what I did was like a kind of a deep time historical analysis of like where money comes from, like actually, and it was kind of, like Robert Breedlove asked the question, like, what is money? And I go, well, there's an answer out there. It's not like it's some fucking mystery. Let's figure it out. Right. So I kind of took that journey on about a year ago, and I just sort of finished it up now. And I'm kind of going through and editing and doing stuff like that. But one of the things I sort of realized in that process is like Rome is a great cautionary tale, right? You go, hey, if you overextend the empire, things get bad. And one of the, like bread and circuses was a way that they used to mitigate some of the problems of being overextended. I think the difference modernly is that this system is not just located to one empire. It's not just one regime. It's not just one geography. It's not just one ecology. It's global. Like this entire apparatus, this entire web stretches from pole to pole, you know, from continent to continent. Like there is no like place where this doesn't touch. Everybody is legible to power. Everybody is counted. Everybody is in the system at some level. Those of us in the West tend to be more deeply embedded in that system, but the when people start talking about collapse scenarios and things like that, I go, there's so much momentum and there's so much enormous, like there's such an enormous body of things going on under the surface that I just don't see like a Rome style collapse being even a possibility anymore. I can see fracture, I can see rupture, I can see things where it gets like tense for some and a little bit better for others and things like that. But I don't see like even how it would be possible for a whole scale collapse absent some like exogenous impact. Like we had a solar flare that wiped out the grid, or the meteor struck, or aliens came, or something like that. But absent something like that, like what internal thing can disrupt a global network? And you go, ugh. And especially a global network that coordinates resources and people and labor and goods and all this kind of stuff at such a fine grain and at such a high fidelity. You go, how does that exactly fall apart? And what does that falling apart look like? I mean, it's literally like, oh, we're in the dark ages. It's not just like, oh, well, the US dollar collapsed and then this happened. It's like, and then the US suffered. It's like, no, the whole world goes into a fucking tailspin at that point, right? So there's no incentive for anybody to let that happen. Like they might whinge and dither at the margins, but at the end of the day, they're going to circle the wagons. They're going to go, we got to protect this, dude, because the opposite of this, like if this all goes away, we got a big, big problem. Like it's not going to be just like, well, we just got to pick up the pieces and figure it out again. It's like, no, we need to figure out where to put all the bodies because we're running out of space. You know what I mean? So I get the distraction and how it's kind of helping people get away from that. But I think the momentum is shifting more towards like friction, and things like Bitcoin, to my mind, provide a huge amount of friction to that system. It provides a huge amount of friction against, everybody kind of being sucked into the machine, and starts giving some space to like, where does this cave, where do the boundaries of this cave or this cage actually exist? And you start seeing it and you go, oh, there's a great big hole in the back of the cage right here. It's called Bitcoin. Like, that's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I kind of drifted off into a tangent here, but that's sort of. Well, I love the comment though, because it sort of like inspired a lot of this kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, appeasing our base emotions works, and then the people will demand it too. Like, give us the distractions. We want the game, or bail us out. The system will maintain itself. It'll do what it has to do to continue to function, however that would happen. I think after reading your book coming out, it leads people to a point where, I would say, as a Bitcoiner, I'd say, okay, so Bitcoin is a solution. There are other things like, okay, what do you do? So what do you do then in your life tangibly to be more, say, sovereign, more free, more capable, happier? It's fiat minimalist. It could also be your plan B, or not engaging with the old game anymore, just doing something asymmetrically, directionally away from what was the traditional system that we've, I guess, known and were born into forever. Right. And so it's perhaps hard to describe, but there are, I think, tangible things to do about it. Bitcoin being one, being able and feeling personal agency, whether you can move or do a different type of work, have a different lifestyle, live differently within your means. There are things to do that maybe things that decrease your legibility, decrease your being stuck, decrease being beholden to frameworks that dole you your resources. I don't know. Self-sufficiency.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Garaban.
Nice Garaban says hello. Hi, Garaban.
Yeah, they I think that's kind of what I'm hoping we're about to see right now, and especially with like the rise of LLMs and things like that, is we're going to start seeing a sort of global maturity start coming into place, right? Like right now, if you were just an alien and you zoom down and you go, what does this organism called Earth do? And it's like, well, it's kind of a child throwing a tantrum constantly, right? And but it, with these LLMs, they're kind of a twofold thing, right? Like they can sort of raise the baseline consciousness. They go, well, we can filter out a lot of BS just by asking the robot, but whoever's driving that robot has a lot of influence over that, right? So you've got a tension there where you go, well, this is potentially a tool for like expanding consciousness and expanding awareness and raising the floor of discourse, where the extreme voices suddenly start sounding like retarded and everyone gets it right away. They start losing their audience, right? So it starts shaping discourse down to like a more mature level. But on the back end of that, you go, well, but who is shaping the shaping? And that, comes down to like incentives and competitive alignments. And if the economics start favoring like these LLMs being short-term, like low time preference, like we need to monetize right now. We need to start bundling the data. We need to start bundling cognitive data. We need to start bundling behavioral data from user interaction and tranching that off and selling it. Then it becomes a really nefarious tool. It starts getting pretty gross. But if the incentives align to a different way where it's like, oh, things are getting way more productive now. People are way more informed now. People are way less influenced by nonsense and ridiculous takes because there's a ready source of at least mostly plausible, viable information that's mostly plausible and objective. Then all of a sudden, when productivity starts massively increasing, then the incentives align differently. It goes, oh, no, we need to preserve this as a long-term solution for humanity, not a short-term. This isn't Google search where we need to start monetizing ads as quickly as possible. This becomes something where it's like something that becomes more transformative. And I think, if you just kind of use history as a barometer, you go, I think we're probably closer to the latter condition where it makes things better gradually. And then the only trick left is like, well, how do we make sure that we can retain some friction in there so it doesn't become Orwellian, right? In the control apparatus, So yeah. It's I don't know, it's kind of an exciting time to me, but I don't know, we'll see kind of how it plays out, I guess. I'm rambling again. I tend to ramble.
Yeah, no, I think people are thinking about that. I mean, in terms of something I've heard on podcasts and on X a lot is, I mean, it's a funny question to ask, but sort of like, what if Bitcoin goes to zero? Where does that leave you? And it's okay, well, it can't. But let's see here. Here's the lows over the years. These are the lows of every year. It's been a hard ride, boy. The annual lows, they're just killing me. I don't know. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster, but time in the market. So, yeah. But Bitcoin at a bigger level, that's the number go up. Like, what if you're not a millionaire next year? What are you going to do? Well, how about Bitcoin has realigned my thinking, my lifestyle, my long-term plans beyond just an escape hatch. Hopefully it's a realignment for the entire system that cures things in the world. And then people that never get off zero, that are fudders their whole life, die with no Bitcoin, experience an improvement in their lives that they'll blame on the current leaders or the politics, or right. They'll never understand it. They'll just be like, well, the tide came in. Oh, yeah. There's a moon right there. Did you see the moon? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's a moon. But, man, yeah, the tide the boat's all raised.
Yeah.
Okay, how about that game?
Exactly. Well, like as Garavan is pointing out here, there are locations where monetary sovereignty is retained and these people just butcher it, and Turkey is a prime example of just massive runaway inflation, right? But what we were talking with Jeeves a little bit earlier about bread and circuses and what late stage empire looks like in decline. Like what happens with countries like Turkey is you end up with that gets incorporated into the broader system, right? Mm-hmm. But for people that get it early, the people that are sort of awake and looking at this problem, they can go, wait a minute, I don't have to collapse with the rest of the country. I don't have to wait until this country gets bailed out, absorbed, its monetary system gets co-opted. And I don't have to wait for the internal mechanisms to reset. I have a gate out, right? The back of the cage has a little opening where I can just go, well, yeah, the lira is dumping like crazy, but my purchasing power is still safe, and I can take this with me anywhere. So that's not a trivial thing in the short term. But in the longer term, I think that starts filtering out even more broadly, So it's, I mean, like what you were saying, Fritz, I think is spot on. Like I think as the world progresses, there's going to be times when people are just going to wake up and just go, it's not as bad as it was 10 years ago. Like, that's pretty cool, right? And the reasons why I think will be lost to most, like in the 90s, I was kind of looking around going, you know what? The world's getting a lot better. And I was at the time very much like, central banks are printing too much and the Dow just crossed 10,000 and this is all crazy and it's all going to fall apart. But inwardly, there's also part of me that would kind of question it and go like, well, maybe this Greenspan guy's kind of got this figured out. Like things seem to be going pretty good. I don't get it. But I didn't really understand the plumbing that was underneath, at least not at a deep level.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see where that runs out of gas, right? You go, oh, of course things were getting better because we're running up a bunch of debt and we're just, like printing our way to prosperity, so to speak. And we get to offload all those pressures to the rest of the world because we have the dollar, And so it becomes a different conversation when you start seeing it from a bigger perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the same will hold true in 20 years from now, where most people are still not quite getting like where this comes from, why productivity is increasing, why things are getting better, why things are struggling in some areas less than others, and et cetera, et cetera. And it won't be a conscious thing. It'll be just like you said. They're going to look and they go, oh, well, like Dear Leader made all this happen, of course, because Dear Leader's taking credit for it, and that's as far as they'll think about it.
Their strategic Bitcoin reserve, they did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Tony at the Bitcoin Way has a great story out of Lebanon, and I think other people with similar stories are experiencing it now. They see Bitcoin a little better. Hey, Betty, because they need it. They've needed Bitcoin, and they get it at a more fundamental level when they've been in a fiat system that was so grotesquely broke.
Right.
So they get things about Bitcoin. In America, we're sort of insulated from that better, but also with the propaganda, we just don't see it, or it's blamed on things. And so people don't feel the same kind of a need, or older folks kind of got theirs or have it in real estate or think in terms of fiat. And so it may be that Bitcoin comes to people when they need it. And the bigger the ego, you've got a higher numerator to get divided by your Bitcoin denominator. And so it's slower to resonate with you, perhaps, if you've got things in the way in your life. But broader than that, what's the alternative? Okay, let's say somehow Bitcoin did not remain decentralized and secure and fell apart and died. And oh my gosh, the calamity. Let's say there wasn't Bitcoin then. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're in the fiat matrix cage, stuck, black-pilled. How's that feel? How's that look?
Right.
What's the alternative? Your better moon coin, or you're still caught in the hustle bustle razzle dazzle fiat game.
Oh, it's Trump coin, dude. Like, just get Trump coin. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. With every president, buy that coin early.
Cash out.
Outtime the founders. And how's the game go last night?
Yeah. Exactly. Geez.
You know what's funny about how was the game last night? And I know plenty of Bitcoiners that are really into certain sports or follow it, and it's something to talk about. It's pro-social, it's entertainment. I don't judge people's choice of entertainment. And it's athletic at some level. So hey, I like athleticism and health. So if I zoom out on the big game too much, I get cynical about what that is. But I didn't know the Super Bowl was happening until like the Saturday before. Because someone mentioned it I was scrolling on other like X stuff, I think, and somebody mentioned the Super Bowl being tomorrow. And I was like, is that tomorrow? And then living where I live, and I lived in Seattle for years, 20 years ago, I would have been just jazzed that the Seahawks were in it. I didn't know who was in the Super Bowl. I didn't find out till I think Monday that, the Seahawks won. And at one level, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the people that care. And then there was the Bad Bunny thing or whatever. Okay. But I just was not detached in a negative way. It was just sort of like, oh, yeah, that's going on. And I felt a little freedom just because I'm busy. I have other priorities. It's not that I don't like football. I can appreciate sitting back on with proper time, proper place, catch a game, appreciate it for what it is. Don't think too hard about it. I can appreciate it, but there was some freedom and feeling like I didn't know, don't need to know. I'm not going to go look it up.
Yeah.
And it was like good practice for me to be healthily distant from fiat. I don't know. It's just so fiat to me. It's not the game. It's like, where are these players from that are from Seattle or whoever else played? Who owns the game? Who runs the draft? Who owns the stadium? All the ads, all the, who pays for the ads, who buys the ads, the Coinbase ad, whatever. That's the game. Yes, there's people playing and passing a football left and right, red and blue. It's not left. It's not red and it's not blue. It's this state. And then there's you paying for $20 beers. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's my little rant on my Super Bowl experience.
Oh, that's good. Sounds like
people who like the game and follow the game and like a team and like it when they win and question when or think about the strategies. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I don't have time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was just saying, it looks like Garabin has made some pretty serious moves in Turkey there. That's pretty impressive. We'll have to hear about that someday.
I'm curious.
Yeah. But, overall, I think number go down. Please keep going down. I'm all about NGD, man. Number go down. I'm rooting for. Like I said, I'm sure there's others like me. There have to be, right? There have to be people that like, they see number go up and they go, they see number go down. They go, yeah, do that. Yeah. Keep going there. That's the way to go. I always hated those. Like, we'll never see under 100,000 again. I'm a big fan of like, we might see 30. I'm like, yeah, let's go there. I don't know, man. Like, anyway.
Yeah. Well, and I've been able to give people was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I had a family friend contact me about an altcoin thing and was like, maybe this could be a good pump. And I gave him a bunch of information about, I categorically shun shitcoin and all that and why I still Bitcoin. And I had gotten him off zero a while ago, but he's still just, just sitting on it, doesn't really spend time. That's fine. But there's always the attraction of, fiat's going to fiat, or maybe, hey, I could get in on this good pump. There's an airdrop, there's a pre-mine, there's a thing. They got a good story. And I was like, oh boy. What's helpful is with your Tindicator and the looking at the trading view and stuff. I've had a number of people with the price change, whether it goes up or whether it goes down. Those are times when I have people that come to me and like, oh, did you hear? What do you think? What are you doing? When's a good time for, did you sell? Are you going to buy? And the trading mentality about that, like, I want to time the market. People naturally want to leverage and things. It's been very helpful actually for a good month now to say, if you're trying to, so say you haven't gotten off zero or you're storing dry powder and you want to get in, but it seems low right now. Like, oh my gosh, it broke below 100,000. Buy. Oh my gosh, it broke below 80. Buy. Oh my gosh, it's approaching 70, 60. I'm out of dry powder. And 38, the 38K gang. 38. That could be. So anyway, so it's been nice to be able to tell people that it's like, okay, so you want to time it. You want to time it strategically in a way because you're prepping to go in, not financial advice, but you're storing dry powder. I get it. And you want to be smart about it. I get it. It's low, but it could go lower, right? Okay. And there's indicators that give you a sense of momentum and size of a tide. The tide's moving, but the tide's not, there's waves in the tide, there's ripples in the waves, and there's also a tide. So can you look at the tide? Yes. So between, the moving average and the exponential average and the RSI, and there's things that I've been able to tell people, like when it was 80, when it was 70, I've said, yes, it's low. Yes, it'll be good. It is good. I will also say, wait. And I've been able to tell a few people now, you can wait safely. You can wait.
Yeah.
And but that waiting won't be forever, because you're going to want to get in and you're going to want to stay in. And then that's another conversation. When you're in, there's a mentality around why you're in and what that means to you. And this isn't a trade. This is your long-term opportunity. Anyway, that has been very helpful to me, which I'm grateful for, is having better advice when people do approach you with fiat. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I found it very helpful, back when I was shitcoining and doing some trading and stuff like that. I'm with you both. Like, I'm like, come on, baby. Let's just get there. Let's get there. Let's go, But what's MMGA? I don't get that one. I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, number go
Biddy,
down.
what's MMGA? We're old.
And then if I got that. But MMGA, I'm like, maybe my gains are
good analogy, Wave. The waves, Jeeves.
Bitcoin is the ocean. Waves are temporal fluctuations. Absolutely. Yeah.
And we are drops in the ocean and not individual. That's what Jeeves and I talked about, we are drops in the ocean and yet part of the ocean. We are the ocean.
Let's see. I'm gonna Google MMGA. What is MMGA? What does Google tell me? Maybe the robot will answer. Massachusetts Master Garden.
It's the Melbourne Men's Golf Association. You'll like that one.
Oh yeah. I have no idea. That's a good one. I bet you.
MMGA. You're gonna have to help us out.
Oh, make money great again. Oh, I love it. Yeah, make money great again.
Make money great again.
Biddy.
Thank you, Biddy. We are nodes in the ocean. Right. Run a node.
Yeah.
Get out zero. Run a node.
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Fritz. If you are watching this, I would highly recommend, and I can't stress this enough, that all of us that claim to be Bitcoiners should be running nodes. It is one of the most important things that you can possibly do as a Bitcoiner. We need to defend the network layer. We need to make sure that network layer stays decentralized and secure. And the easiest way you can do that is to fire up a node, start 9, sells them, pretty easy, plug and play. You can just be running a node tomorrow. FutureBit, it's another one. You can run a little home miner. It's a great little space heater. And you can be like playing the Bitcoin lottery every 6 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is. And you will also be running a full node. So these are all great things to do. If my voice carries any weight, I would say, please consider running a node, help defend the network, be part of the network. Don't be a Bitcoiner in wallet only, be a Bitcoiner in network defense. And so that's my 2 cents. I'll get off my soapbox. And make men great again. Good luck with that.
Men like us. Great men like us. We are making men great again. And by running a node, you are at a metaphysical level of Bitcoin. You're contributing to the network. You're not just a node in the ocean of Bitcoin. The ocean of Bitcoin is in your node.
Yeah, I love that. Rumi. I like Rumi. Be the light. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, should we call it?
The entire ocean is in our drop.
We're an hour and 20 in.
Yeah, good conversation. Garbon buys Bitcoin by looking at updated new Bitcoin miner prices. If miners exist within a 1.5 year ROI, I buy Bitcoin.
Interesting.
Looking at the mining economy to project hash rates and Bitcoin value.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
Indeed. Well, anyway, I mean, thank you everybody for joining us today. It's great to see you all and wonderful conversation. I appreciate it. Johnny, always good to see you. Garaban, nice to see you. Jeeves, Biddy, awesome. Everybody, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. And I'm going to play a little word from our sponsor, and then we'll say bye.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
As a Bitcoiner, you know that taking self-custody is critically important. So get off paper and get yourself a MicroSeed at microseed.io. MicroSeed is the best way to take self-custody. One single MicroSeed kit allows you to stamp as many seed phrases as you want. And you can fit all 12 or 24 words on one single washer. Get the kit and crank out all the keys you'll ever need forever. Go to microseed.io and use promo code FRITZ to get 5% off the best seed stamping tool available.